Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, where tiny coins can lead to massive discoveries. Today, we're unlocking the mystery behind a coin that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, the 1966 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? But this little copper coin could be worth far more than just 1 cent. In fact, it might just be one of the most valuable coins sitting unnoticed in someone's old change jar right now. So grab your magnifying glass and pay close attention, because what we're about to share might just change the way you look at pennies forever. Let's take a closer look at this fascinating coin. The 1966 Lincoln penny features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front, just like most of the cents minted since 1909. But what makes this year stand out isn't just the design, it's what happened behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint that year. In 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint suspended the use of mint marks to discourage coin hoarding during a national coin shortage. That means the 1966 penny doesn't have a mint mark at all, making it trickier to trace its origin. While millions were made, only a small number have survived in flawless condition, and even fewer carry the rare errors that make collectors' hearts race. Yes, you heard that right, errors. These are what truly make the 1966 Lincoln penny a gem in the world of coin collecting. Imagine this, a simple misstep during the minting process, and suddenly you've got a coin that's one of a kind. Some 1966 pennies have doubling on the date or lettering, which is known as a double die error. Others might show signs of being off-center, where the image wasn't properly aligned when struck. There are even examples with clipped planchets, where part of the coin's edge is missing because the blank wasn't cut correctly. Collectors go wild for these kinds of mistakes, not because they're flaws, but because they're fascinating pieces of minting history. Each error tells a story, and no two are exactly alike. Now, here's what makes things really exciting. If you happen to find a 1966 Lincoln penny that is in uncirculated condition, crisp, clean, and untouched by time, or one that carries one of these rare and desirable minting errors, you might just be holding a coin worth more than its weight in copper. But don't just toss it into your piggy bank. Because the right 1966 penny, under the right conditions, with the right error, could be worth as much as $55,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $55,000. So the next time you come across a pile of old pennies, take a second look. The 1966 Lincoln penny might seem ordinary, but in the world of coin collecting, it's a hidden legend. You never know, you could be just one coin away from uncovering your very own piece of American treasure. Today's video might just change the way you look at the humble 1-cent coin. We're diving deep into a true American classic, the 1967 Lincoln penny. Now, at first glance, this coin might look like any other penny you've seen in your pocket change. But don't let its simple appearance fool you. This coin has secrets. Big ones. And for some lucky collectors, those secrets have turned a single penny into a serious payday. Let's rewind time for a moment. The year was 1967. America was buzzing with change, war protests, space exploration, and cultural revolutions. But behind the scenes at the U.S. Mint, something unusual was happening. Just like in 1965 and 1966, the Mint continued a special policy. No mint marks were added to coins during those years. Why? To reduce coin hoarding caused by fears of metal shortages. That detail alone makes the 1967 penny part of a unique period in U.S. numismatic history. But the real magic of this coin lies in the rare errors and variations that collectors are constantly searching for. So what makes the 1967 Lincoln penny so special? Let's talk about errors. These aren't mistakes in the eyes of collectors, they're rare variations that turn an ordinary coin into a collectible masterpiece. Some 1967 pennies feature double die obverse, where parts of the design, like Lincoln's profile, the date, or the words, "In God We Trust," appear slightly doubled. This is due to a misalignment in the minting process, and it makes the coin incredibly desirable. Others have off-center strikes, where the image was not properly centered on the coin. The result? A lopsided penny that stands out from the crowd. There are also die cracks, struck through errors, and even clipped planchets, where part of the coin's metal is missing due to a cutting error. Every one of these makes the coin rarer and more valuable, and here's where collectors get excited. Not only are these error coins fun to hunt for, but they're becoming harder and harder to find in high-grade condition. After all, most of these pennies were used in everyday transactions, spent, scratched, and worn down. That means a well-preserved 1967 penny with an error is a true rarity, a survivor in the world of coin circulation. Collectors absolutely love the challenge of finding these coins. It's the thrill of the hunt, the story behind the error, and the chance to own a piece of American history that sets their hearts racing. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to have a 1967 Lincoln penny with the right error, especially in uncirculated or mint state condition, you could be looking at a coin that's worth an incredible $52,000. Yes, you heard that right. $52,000. From a 1-cent coin. So before you toss that old penny aside, take a closer look. The 1967 Lincoln penny might seem small, but in the world of coin collecting, it's a giant. Check your change, look through your collections, and who knows? You might just uncover a copper treasure that changes your life. Today, we're turning the spotlight on a very special coin, one that might seem small, but could be worth a massive reward if you know what to look for. We're talking about the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1970. Now I know what you're thinking, it's just a penny. But hang on. This isn't just any penny. The 1970 Lincoln cent holds secrets that many people overlook, and for collectors who know how to spot them, it can mean striking gold. Well, almost. Let's break it down. The 1970 Lincoln penny was part of the Memorial Reverse series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the front, you've got the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial Building. But what really sets some 1970 pennies apart aren't the designs, they're the mistakes. That's right, minting errors. Some of the most valuable and collectible coins in the world are the ones that weren't made perfectly. In 1970, a number of pennies were struck with double die obverse. That means the front side of the coin, with Lincoln's image, shows doubling in areas like the date, the word liberty, and even the motto, "In God We Trust." If you look closely and see that kind of doubling, you might just be holding a valuable treasure, but it doesn't stop there. There are also small date and large date varieties of the 1970s penny, coins minted in San Francisco. And here's where things get interesting. Some of the small date versions, especially those with the double die error, are incredibly rare. Most people wouldn't spot the difference without a trained eye or a magnifying glass, which is why they often go unnoticed in jars of old change or forgotten collections. And that's not all. Errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, struck through debris, or even coins struck on the wrong planchet can send the value of a 1970 penny soaring. These errors turn a common coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible, and serious collectors are always on the hunt for these unique variations. Here's the exciting part. Most of these pennies were circulated for years, passed from hand to hand, used and worn down. Finding one in pristine condition, or better yet, in uncirculated or mint state, is becoming harder every year. And if that rare example also has one of these major mint errors, well, you might be holding a small copper coin that packs a mighty punch in value. So now you're probably wondering, what's it actually worth? Let's just say, if you have a 1970 Lincoln penny with a rare error and it's in high-grade condition, you could be looking at a coin that collectors are willing to pay an unbelievable amount for. In fact, one of these rare 1970 pennies has been sold for as much as $48,000. Yes, you heard that right, $48,000 for a single penny. That's why collectors, hobbyists, and treasure hunters are all keeping a close eye on their old coins, because you never know what's hiding in plain sight. So before you toss that jar of change aside, take a closer look. That 1970 Lincoln cent might just be the key to an unexpected fortune. Today's video is all about a small coin with a huge story, the 1960 United States Lincoln penny. Now, this might seem like just another copper coin to some, but to a trained eye, this little piece of American currency can unlock an incredible hidden value. Stick around, because this is more than just a penny. This could be the most valuable coin hiding in your collection right now. Let's start with the basics. In 1960, the U.S. Mint released the standard Lincoln cent with President Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been introduced the year before in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. But 1960 wasn't just any year. It was a year of variety, a year of errors, and a year that would go down in numismatic history for producing one of the most sought-after pennies in circulation. What makes this coin so special? Well, the 1960 Lincoln penny comes in two distinct versions, small date and large date varieties. At first glance, the differences between the two might be hard to spot, but collectors know exactly what to look for. The size and shape of the numbers in the date, especially the 0, help distinguish the two. And here's where it gets exciting. Some small date versions were mistakenly struck with dies meant for large dates, and vice versa, leading to mismatched and rare varieties. But that's not all. There are double die errors, where parts of the coin's design, like the date or lettering, appear slightly doubled because of a misalignment during minting. There are also repunched mint marks, especially from the Denver Mint, where the D was struck more than once in slightly different positions. These errors might look like tiny quirks, but to a collector, they're gold. And don't forget the proof coin struck in San Francisco. While these were not intended for general circulation, some have surfaced in the wild. Imagine finding a mirror-like proof penny in a handful of change. Proofs with certain doubling or unique characteristics can skyrocket in value. Now here's where things get really interesting. Most of the 1960 pennies were heavily circulated. They were used in everyday life, pocket change, cash registers, vending machines. Finding one in high-grade, uncirculated condition is already rare. But when you combine that with a known error, like a double die, a small date variety, or a repunched mint mark, you're talking about a coin that collectors dream of owning. And what's truly amazing is how many of these coins still slip through the cracks. People overlook them because they look so ordinary. But make no mistake, these are the coins that could turn up in an old penny jar, a forgotten box in the attic, or even in your change from the grocery store. Now, after all this, you're probably wondering, what's the most a 1960 penny like this could be worth? Well, hold on to your coin rolls, because if you have a 1960 Lincoln penny with a rare error, in pristine, uncirculated condition, or a proof coin with a significant variety, it could be worth as much as $61,000. Yes, you heard me, $61,000, for a 1-cent coin. That's why it's so important to take a closer look. Grab a magnifying glass, check those dates, examine those mint marks. The next valuable penny might be right in front of you. Today, we're diving into a penny that's often overlooked, but it might just be the rare gem hiding in plain sight, the 1968 Lincoln penny. Now I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny, right? But hold on tight, because this isn't just any ordinary 1-cent coin. The 1968 Lincoln penny holds a secret, a combination of minting history, rare errors, and collector demand that could make it worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's take a closer look at this fascinating coin. In 1968, the Lincoln cent continued its familiar design. On the front, we have the profile of Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial. But this year marked a shift in minting policies. Just 2 years earlier, the U.S. Mint had reintroduced mint marks after temporarily removing them during the coin shortage of the mid-60s. So now, in 1968, coins could be found with a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. And that tiny letter? It plays a huge role in the value of this coin. Let's talk about the San Francisco Mint specifically. The 1968 S Lincoln penny is where the real action happens. That's because this version, especially in proof condition or with rare minting errors, has become a hot item among serious collectors. And speaking of errors, this is where it gets really exciting. Some 1968 pennies, particularly those from San Francisco, were struck with double die obverse. This means certain parts of the design, like the date, the word liberty, or even, in God we trust, appear doubled when viewed under magnification. These doubling errors were caused during the die production process, and only a limited number made it into circulation before the mistake was caught. Even more valuable are the proof coins with double dies, especially if they've remained in flawless condition over the decades. These are incredibly rare, and their value can skyrocket in auctions. Let's not forget other rare types of errors like off-center strikes, struck through debris, or coins struck on a wrong planchet, all of which increase both rarity and value. Every collector dreams of finding one of these mistakes because they represent moments when the strict precision of the US Mint slipped just a little, and that little slip can be worth a lot. Now here's what adds to the rarity even more: many of these error coins were circulated and damaged over time, making high-quality examples incredibly scarce. If you happen to have a 1968 penny that's crisp, well-preserved, and carries one of these rare minting mistakes, you could be holding on to something truly special. And now, the part you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to find a 1968 Lincoln penny with a major error, especially from the San Francisco Mint and in uncirculated or proof condition, it could fetch a jaw-dropping price. So don't blink, because here it comes. That tiny copper penny could be worth as much as $56,000, yes, you heard that right, $56,000. So before you toss aside those old coins or cash in your piggy bank, take a moment to inspect each penny. That small, forgotten coin from 1968 could be the treasure you never knew you had. If you found this video helpful or just love the thrill of rare coins and hidden value, go ahead and give us a like, subscribe for more awesome coin content, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a discovery. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting, and may your next penny be the one worth thousands.